Everybody, welcome to the final Total Training Managers meeting session for 2013. I'm going to keep everybody muted for the time being. Because we have a lot of people who are going to be signing on to this. Once we get to a Q&A section, then I will unmute you. Or as always, you can raise your hand. We've got a lot to cover today, and we're going to follow the trend that we started last month. We got lots of good feedback from the idea of having guest speakers on the session to kind of plant a topic, and then we go from there. So I've been doing quite a bit of work with Flower Shop Network. I'm firm believers in the company, in the process, and the service that they're bringing to the industry. But that said, I also know when I travel, when I visit, on average 3 flower shops a week, and I casually will bring up Flower Shop Network. So often it's kind of like, I'm not sure, or I think we belong, or who are they? So I thought this would be a good opportunity to have one of the principals, Brock, whose handsome mug you see on the screen, join us and just kind of give a thumbnail sketch of how Flower Shop Network works. And as always, I want to maintain my neutrality in terms of the various services, products that anyone uses. That said, what I hope this will do is maybe give you some perspective if you have been thinking about either dropping out of one of the wire services, if you currently don't belong to any wire service, or you're just rethinking or renegotiating your relationship with them. I hope this will shed a little light on there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Brock do the talking. I'm going to turn the pages, so he'll let me know as we need to move forward. But I'm going to let him talk up front, and then see if we have any questions. So so Brock, why don't you tell us more about Flower Shop Network?
Thanks, Tim, for having me today, and I just want to say to everybody out there, I think for those that are listening today, certainly know the benefits that Tim brings to the industry, and appreciate what he's done for the industry. And we appreciate, Tim works with us quite a bit too. You're never too good to improve, and we all need to be striving toward that. The first slide that we have here is says meet the team, and it's the thing that I think I'm most proud about at Flower Shop Network, and I think a lot of people don't recognize what we put into trying to serve the floral industry. We currently employ just short of 70 employees here. On our management staff, consisting of about 8 people, there is all but one of them are either, a lot of you probably recall Redbook. They're either used to work for Redbook Wire Services or for Teleflora, and that's all but one of them are on have that kind of floral experience and quite a few years doing so. As you can see, we've got some funny little photos here of our different employees during Christmas events and company picnics and that sort of thing. And we just this summer thought it would be interesting to take a look at 70% of our employees are ex-Redbook or Teleflora, and again have a tremendous amount of experience in the floral industry. And we tallied all that up, including the management staff, and there's over 608 years combined industry experience that you're looking at when you're working with Flower Shop Network. Tim, if you don't mind, the next
Sure.
slide, please.
Yep.
Now I'd like you to meet the family, and I wish I could get all of them on there. Flower Shop Network is currently has about 6,000 members. By our calculations, and we'll get into this a little bit later on, and you hear different numbers around, but our calculations is, the floral industry, you can hear a lot of different numbers, but I really think somewhere around 12,000 is what you're hearing is left in the United States which, from 1999 it was more like 24,000 members, or 24,000 florists in the United States. And I really think now that that number is more like 12,000. And with 6,000 members, we have a good 50% of the market share. And these are just some photographs. We try to do a lot of shows every year and try to increase supporting the local shows. And these are just some of the people that we've seen either going to shows or just traveling around and meeting with them personally. And we really do consider the florists and wholesalers and I guess people like Tim that I'd probably put in the vendor category. We all view all of them as, members of the floral family. Next slide, please. I want to take a minute and just tell you a little bit more about the FSN, what we do at FSN. It's a little different approach. The first thing that you'll notice about us, and the first thing that we started, was the FSN directory. And for $399 a year, you can be a member of this directory, and there's no monthly fees. It's just a one-time fee. If you prefer it charged monthly or in payments, we can do that. But for $399 a year, you can be part of this directory. That gives you access to a lot more than just the directory, which is on the web. And, we don't promote ourselves as Flower Shop Network on the web as much as we're trying to promote ourselves as, Memphis, when you do a Google search or a Yahoo search, Memphis, Tennessee florist or flower shop, those sorts of terms. And, we may not be number one, but we're always kind of in the running on those sort of things. Anyway, some of the other things that you get with the FSN directory is access to FSN transfer. And we'll get into that a little bit more here in a minute. When we first started our directory, it was simply trying to connect the consumer with the florist. But as time went on and we had more and more members, those members started trading orders amongst each other, sort of circumventing the traditional wire service model. And then as time went on, we had more and more florists ask, is there some way you guys can't facilitate this for us? So we do offer a transfer service, and I'll talk in a little bit more in depth about that here in a moment. We've already talked about, we're doing everything we can through our directory, and we'll list on your directory your website that you have with us or with someone else. But it's all about getting you increased exposure, whether it's for your website or just for your phone number. And all these crossing type links are beneficial, I'll tell you, as many of you know now. And again, we've already touched on, we really promote the connection. We try to cut ourselves out as the middleman. We try to promote, the customer talking to the florist directly, either on the phone or by placing, placing orders on your website. By doing so, that guarantees you 100% on every consumer order. And that's what we're trying to do, is get ourselves out as the middleman and the person who is, taking a percentage of the order. With that, you get, of course, with your directory listing, you get, your resident city, obviously, but you also get to have up to 10 additional served-by cities. So, if you were in Memphis, Tennessee, for example, you might get Germantown and Millington and that sort of things, because they're all reasonably areas that you could also deliver to. But conversely, we would not allow you to have, if you were in Memphis, Tennessee, we would not allow you to have a listing, say, in Dallas, Texas, or New York City. And then also with that, you would get an enhanced profile where you could put some more information. Kind of think of it like LinkedIn or an additional Facebook page. Again, the more places you can get yourself out there pointing towards your shop's phone number or web address, the better you'll be. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Tim. Also, as part of the being part of the directory and what we consider to be a member of Flower Shop Network, and some of you may want to write this down, www.fsnf2f.com. You're not going to be able to get into that site, but there are videos where it'll show a lot of the things that we do within there. So I encourage you at some time to take a look at that if any of this interests you. Anyway, FSNF2.com is an account management program that's private to florist members only of Flower Shop Network. From there, you can keep statistics and analytics for your website you might have with us, or the kind of traffic that you get on a directory for you. But also, and we're going to get into transferring orders in a little bit, this would be a good place for you to, or this is a place where you can electronically send that order. Or, of course, other options you have is to phone the order into us. And another option yet you have is with certain point-of-sale systems, you can actually send orders without even logging on to this. But by the same token, you can still get on there and keep track of your records and that sort of thing, and payments and that sort of thing. Also on here, you can, there's a directory on there that includes our entire database of florists, and it's kind of like your own private directory. So you can set up preferred florists there. You can choose that you want to call on or keep records of how that went positively or negatively against other florists. You can also go on there and set up preferred florist if you're sending electronically, and that will have an effect on whether you're sending electronically with us or with a point-of-sale system that's set up with us. Let's see. There's also a marketing center there. It'll have little flyers and posters that it'll help you print out, and some artwork. It will also give you access to floral recipes if you receive an order through our network where they've used some of our images. And you can also download images from this area to be used on your website. And any of our customer service agents here would be glad to help you with that. I'm trying not to get too in depth here because it just kind of goes on and on. It's a little bit explaining, like, what does Microsoft Office do? Well, we could spend a month here talking about that. And there's a lot more to it there, and it's going to have, some things are going to appeal to different people and some things are not. And that's one of the things we've tried to do with Flower Shop Network, is kind of make it an a la carte type system where you can pick and choose and use what you want. If you're not using it, certainly you're not profiting from what we're offering you, but certainly we don't charge you or hurt you in any way if you choose not to use it by charging you a non-use fee and that sort of thing. Let's go on and go to the next slide.
Okay.
I wanted to get a little bit more into the pay-as-you-go transactional-based florist sending system that we have, and it's really different than anything I think that's out in the system, out in the industry right now. And it's a little different, and we recognize that it works for a great deal of florists, and there's some that that possibly this doesn't work for. But I think there's some real rationale to it, and if you'll bear with me, we'll just kind of walk through it real quick. Let's imagine, if you will, if you were a Seattle florist. You receive an order from a customer for about $100 worth of flowers. Many florists and websites, even websites that are what we would consider to be order gatherers, charge like a service fee at some point. Some florists choose to do that, some don't. It's all up to you and on your marketing deal. But let's just say we've got a $100 order. We would charge that sending florist, a member of Flower Shop Network, to send, and this order is going to New York. So we would charge that florist $80 plus a $3.99 transaction fee. So it would be $83.99. So the sending shop, in effect, is keeping 20%. And all that can be affected by taxes you charge on your end, or it could, in effect, be more than 20% if you charged a service charge on your end. But anyway, it goes through FSN headquarters, and then the receiving shop in New York would receive $80. And the thing that we've really prided ourselves on is that shop would receive a check from Flower Shop Network paid within 7 days. That's not 45 days. That's not 6 weeks. It's almost immediately, much faster than I think anybody else in the industry is paying. And again, the florist is receiving a full 80%, not the customary 73%, or if you figured in your monthly fees and dues, it could you can argue 50. Even I've heard some people argue 40%. Let's go on to the next slide. Um, the next thing that we developed shortly after we started the transfer service is we've started selling websites. We have a basic website, but we also have premium websites, and these things are built ready to go, and they have we can change the looks of them to the number of design options are almost limitless on the number of colors and background images and that sort of thing. And you can change and add your own product images. You can, obviously it'll have your shop's logo on it. You can customize the page text. These websites are mobile ready for smartphone ordering. As many of you know, if you're not already involved in mobile, please get involved with it, whether through us or someone else. I heard on the news the other day that 50% of ordering is now done with a mobile device, whether it be a tablet or a phone. And of course, our websites are designed to look good on those. Next slide, please. Also want to get into the point of sale systems. Currently we integrate and are working with others, but currently we are integrating with Floristware, the Floral Point of Sale, Quick Flora, and Mass. If you have one of these systems, either contact these point of sale systems or our customer service here, and we'll work with you on getting that system fully integrated with one of these systems. All of them are doing a great job. What this means is, instead of writing an order down and then entering it in our system, or if you're receiving the order, writing the order down or printing it from our system, it all just seamlessly, either you enter it in your system and it goes out with us, or you receive it from that system, and it just solves a lot of paperwork and helps you to go paperless, which is more and more important in this era. If you see somebody on here that is not currently a point of sale system, if they're reputable, the way most of these point of sale systems have joined us is from the fact that, we've certainly sent out requests to all the point of sale systems that we'd like to be involved with here, but it really is driven by the florists. The florists have to be the one that says, hey, I'm a member of Floristware, why don't you guys integrate? And that pressure really comes best from you guys, but we can assure you that we will, anybody that's a reputable point of sale provider, we would be glad to work with them and share with them our API and make this work for all of us. And not all of these point of sale systems are the same. They're all very unique, and they're all have the different gloves to fit different people, and that's why we think it's important that we integrate with as many as possible. Next slide, please. Just kind of a rehash here of, and again, I wish I could tell you everything that we do, but I know we don't have time for that. I would love to just kind of go over the top of it. And if there's something here that you're not seeing, contact us and talk to us. Either it's something I'm not mentioning today, or it's something we haven't thought of. And many of the things that we do are as a request of our florist members. But just to kind of rehash, we don't charge you monthly fees. We can, if you want, we can spread this out monthly if you so desire. We prefer to charge this up front, and truly for $399 a year to be a member, I just don't see how you can pass up on that kind of deal. We pay you weekly for orders that come from other florists or from your website that we handle for you. We have solid, with 6,000 members, we have solid coverage throughout the United States and Canada, and we can also deliver anywhere in the world for you. One of our main mantras is we don't want to compete with you for customers for your orders. We don't think that's good for the industry, and we certainly don't think that's good for small businesses like florists. You only pay for the services that you want or need. We don't penalize you for not using any of the services. We realize that not everybody needs every service that we offer, and they can pick and choose what they need. It's a pay-as-you-go system as far as sending. and you have the freedom to choose your own point-of-sale provider. And we'd really like for people to think of us as your marketing partner, both on and offline. Next slide, please. For those of you, some of you may have actually heard me speak at some other functions. I want to take a moment to get on my soapbox, if you will, and I think this is an important thing for all of us, and I think it's something that we can all agree on. And it's the issue of stewardship. For those of you who are in New York City, it may not be as impressive to know that I'm a country boy that grew up on a farm in southeast Missouri. And I learned long ago, you'll see two pictures, one of the good-looking crop on the left and one of the, of course, we all remember the Dust Bowl era. But, I learned from a very young age that you should be a good steward to the things that you make your living from. And that's really a philosophy here at Flower Shop Network. We can all be farmers like the one on the left that really take care of the land and try to do things to help, that supports it. Or we can all take advantage of the industry, and I think we've all seen that in the industry. And I think this problem is really bigger than the floral industry itself. I think this problem is with small business as a whole. I think everything is going the direction of Amazon and Microsoft, not Microsoft, but Walmart and that sort of thing. Everything's just going bigger and bigger business. And as humans, we want to make this simple and say, well, it's so-and-so's fault, or it's because these kids won't work these days, or it's because the politicians are making too many laws for us to work on. And many of these things are true. I mean, I can just go on, but we all seem to isolate on one thing, but it's just multiple things that are attacking not only small business, but the floral industry as a whole. I don't know how many of you follow SAF. If you don't, you should. They're a great organization. We're a member of them. They put out a report, I think it was in August, and it was based off of U.S. county business patterns. In 1999, the floral industry, florist retail establishments measured about 24,798. As of 2011, you could draw a straight line downward on this, but as of 2011, this report says 15,307. I really believe here in 2013, the number is really probably going more toward 12,000. And that's a little scary, but it's not just isolated to the floral industry, it's across the whole industry. Our industry is getting much smaller. And I would like to say, certainly Flower Shop Network, we have a saying here, we have to mow our own grass. Certainly we have to mow our own grass and try to survive here so we can serve the floral industry and florists a little bit longer. And each of you, I think, have to do in your business to mow your own grass. You certainly have to do things to survive. It's a tough environment, and I think it's gotten a little better, but it's still a tough environment, and I think many of you are, I think it creates a lot of opportunity as well. But I think it's great that you're involved with Tim, and that's the reason why we're involved with Tim. I think he tackles at least one of the facets of the industry in helping us all, Flower Shop Network and florists as well, work on their professionalism, work on their ability to sell and to service, in the case of Flower Shop Network, the floral industry and florists, but also it's all of our duty to service the floral consumer. We can do things that Amazon and Walmart and so on cannot do. We can out-service them. We can't out-cheat them, but we can out-service them. And I would encourage all of you to work with me in that regard. Next slide, please, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
And to work with Tim as well in making yourselves better and trying to improve ourselves and the industry in the end. Again, we've been in this business for 14 years. I think one of our problems is we try not to put ourselves in front of the florist when it comes to the consumer, and therefore we don't always have the recognition that we probably could have if we'd advertised ourselves more. But we try to advertise our florists the most and give the floral consumer the best possible floral experience that they can have by getting them the most of their money by connecting them direct to florists across the United States and Canada. That's all of my presentation. Tim, you may have something you want to add or questions.
Okay. I want first, thank you for your time. I will unmute everybody in a moment in case those of you in attendance have any questions for Brock. But part of my motivation for asking Brock to join us today and to educate those of you who are not members about Flower Shop Network is because of what I see in my travels. And I say it so often, I on average visit about 3 flower shops every week all around the world. And what I've noticed as a trend over the past couple of years, and it kind of validates what Brock said about, or some of the statistics he shared, is I see more and more florists who belong only to one of the bigger, or if bigger, it maybe isn't the proper word, one of the traditional or old-fashioned wire services, having an increasingly difficult time to get orders filled. And you all know what I'm talking about. You try to get an order out and it gets rejected. There is no flower shop in that town. And then you're spending a disproportionate amount of time trying to get it filled. You're reverting to using a credit card because the only flower shop that you can find doesn't belong to the big wire services that you belong to. So all the more reason to take a look at Flower Shop Network membership as a way to either supplement or to replace those other memberships. If you can, meaning if you're not tethered to them for technology or other reasons. But let me just unmute everybody, see if there are any questions out there for you, Brock. All right, everybody is unmuted, so you can feel free to just pose a question to Brock if you have any. Any questions, any comments, any thoughts?
Well, this is Christy at Roses Are Red and Violets in Bloom Flower Shop. I don't have any questions. We love Flower Shop Network.
Great.
Thank you.
We have florist wear, and it really does integrate very, very well together. I like having things that are all separate because I did have some of the other wire services at one. Actually, I guess I've had them all, sometimes simultaneously, sometimes separate. But I haven't found any trouble with coverage problems. If anything, I have less problems with Flower Shop Network. And like I said, it sends very, very easy, and I love florist wear, so the two work really well together. And my girl, anytime that we call in, you get a live person right away.
With an Arkansas accent.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's taken care of. It's like the problem's taken care of almost instantly. So, we have nothing but good things to say about them.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Christy.
That was great. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Brock while we've got him on our webinar? Otherwise, I'm gonna let him get back to his busy day. No. All right.
I answered all their questions.
You did.
How about world peace? Anybody got something on that?
What I'll do, Brock, is if I get any questions, I will forward them to you. So thanks again for your time, and I'll catch up with you later in the week.
Okay. Good. Good talking to you, and thank you all for your time.
Okay. Thanks, Brock.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. If everybody will just stick with me, I'm going to leave you unmuted. Got a couple of things that I want to cover with you in regards to what's going on in Total Training. First of all, it's taking much longer than I had anticipated, but what you're seeing right now is a screenshot of the sign-in page that will be on the on my website. It's up there now. They're just making some additional changes and modifications to it. I expect by the end of the month this will be live. So what that means is, as a member of Total Training, you're not going to have to rely on email anymore. What you'll be able to do is log in. You'll have your own member page, and on that page there will be the recordings of your test calls. There will be the downloadable library of the sales tips. There will be the links for the upcoming webinars. You're going to have links for and the dates for webinars for all of 2014. So it's going to be easy, organized, readily accessible. And my hope is by having this whole library of calls, this whole library of sales tips, that you will tap into it and use it more proactively in your store. So as soon as I get the final thumbs up from my web developer, I'll make sure that an email goes out to everybody, and it'll be pretty simple. Just set up, create your own username, create your own password, and that will be unique to you, and then you'll be in. Also, I sent out the sales tip on, I think it was Monday, the 2nd of December. Rather than hitting your staff with something new, my choice this month was to reinforce some of the critical points that I know from 20 years of experience often suffer at the holidays. Things pick up, and we as salespeople can justify these shortcuts, but they're not really shortcuts, because as you see on the screen, if you sidestep taking email addresses, then you're going to have customers calling the store. It defeats the purpose. We're increasing exponentially the volume of people shopping at your store. That really is just another opportunity to sell more add-ons, whatever the finishing touches are that you've got available in your store. And also, what I see and hear around holidays is people will rush through an order, and they'll tell me, well, the line was 5 deep at the register, or she sounded like she was in a big hurry, and I make them take a step back and say, okay, so then you're going to rush through the order and make a mistake that's going to end up ticking her off, that's going to end up causing us to have to send out a replacement or a refund. So these 3 things you should be reviewing with your staff. It's going to be the mainstay of the Employees Lounge webinar that starts exactly 1 hour from now. I'm going to go over it with them as well. So if you have not already printed this and posted this, please do so. Even if by chance you're giving out paychecks this Friday, it wouldn't hurt to print a copy of this and pop it into their paychecks. Just let's reinforce these 3 critical things, really drill it into their heads. So let me see if any of you have any questions, any issues, any ideas, anything that you want to bring up for discussion, either with me and or with the group. Kind of put it in your plate. Anything that you've seen going on, good, bad, or otherwise, in your store, in your business, in your neighborhood. Anything that you're maybe doing differently for Christmas this year. This is your chance, people. This is why we're together. Okay, everybody always wants to be a voyeur. I can't quite understand it. When I get out to your stores, everyone's chatty, but in this in the webinar, everybody wants to be quiet. You're amongst friends, so don't hesitate. But while you're thinking on that, I'll show you something else we've got going on. This is the lineup for the webinars that we're going to be producing in 2014. You'll notice there isn't one every month. We're skipping a couple months. February, because we're all kind of obsessed with Valentine's Day, and then August, because typically it's such a slow month. You've got staff on vacation, people are tight on money, so. Some of you who are newer to Total Training, these are separate from Total Training. As an SAF member, you still get a 50% discount, but there's a lot of work that goes into these. We typically have guest speakers that cost a lot to produce, so there is an additional charge, but you will get some consideration as a Total Training member. this is what we've got happening. Let me just walk you through these real quick so you can decide, since these are a la carte, which ones you like and you don't like. And by the way, Althea, I just got your text. I'll follow up with you after, or your message. I'll follow up with you after this. So we're going to kick off the year. We're going to talk about a whole program for Valentine's Day. There's a mentality in our industry that, oh, it's Valentine's Day and we're going to have more business than we can possibly handle, and so be it. That's true to a degree. However, you can be much more efficient. You can be much more accurate. There is an opportunity to make bigger sales. In March, we're going to have a new webinar that's really focused on those members of your staff who are meek, those who, I mean, you know who I'm talking about, the ones who are afraid of their own shadow. They're terrified of upselling. We're going to literally take them by the hand and empower them to engage customers. In April, we're going to tackle an issue that I've been asked about so often, and that is when customers complain. And that's just a part of doing business. We're inevitably unable to please 100% of our customers. So I'm going to give you some skills to tackle that. We have a new division launching. It's called Design Strategies, and you'll learn more about that. But you're going to get some insight in May. We're going to have Jackie Lacey, who is an AIFD designer I've worked with for a number of years. He's the head of the Design Strategies division, and we're going to be doing a really interesting design webinar with him. June, we're going back to the idea of photography. We've had a photographer on a previous webinar. It was really, really well received, so we're going to take that to the next level, which is why it's called a master class. We're going to have a guest speaker for talking about incentive plans. We're going to have a guest speaker for visual merchandising, how to make your store look better without breaking the bank. Lots of tips and tricks that the other big retailers use that you can incorporate into your store. In October, we're going to bring back our guest speaker on human resources, because this is an issue that I hear about constantly. Like, how do we get the right people in? How can I train them? How can I find them? How can I keep them? And we're going to end down the year with talking about marketing, just doing things to get more business into your store. And the Christmas boot camp that we did last week has been a huge success. We've had lots of really great feedback from shops who are on it. So we're going to take that to the next level and produce a new version of that. So you will be getting information in the coming weeks. We're going to put together a special package price for you as a Total Training member, so you get a little bit of a further discount. So sit tight. Also, sorry, the image on the bottom of the screen is that we're going to make registering for the webinars a lot easier too. You're going to be able to do this right on the new Floral Strategies website. You can register for as many webinars as you like. You'll be able to do them in advance. So that's going to be far easier than the kind of onesie-twosie approach that we've been using. And then my final thing before I turn it back to you is we are going to give you the calendar for 2014. We're going to let you know when all of the webinars are going to be, when I'm going to be coming to your state, so we can coordinate your annual scheduled visit to get me into your store. So all of that will be coming to you in the next week or so through email. So tell me then, are there any questions? Any comments, any feedback from anybody out there today? Got a big group of quiet florists.
Christy from Roses Red, Violets in Bloom again. I don't know if anybody else is seeing it, but it has just been really, really slow. But we're still getting weddings. I mean, I just had a bride come in who's getting married the end of this month, and like 3 in January.
Wow.
It just all kind of waited till last minute, so thank goodness for weddings. But I just didn't know if anybody else has just seen that it's just been kind of slow. But actually our gift wares have been, we've had a lot of people just come in and browse, which normally we don't have that, even though we're in like a strip plaza. So that's kind of been a different change. But like I said, it's just been slow.
Yeah, I haven't been training in a flower shop since before Thanksgiving. And a lot has happened since then. Since we literally changed the calendar page to December. But the couple of stores that I did visit then, they seemed slow. They were kind of like was cautiously approaching the holidays. And although none of us can wave a magic wand to increase customer volume, I guess my bit of advice is make sure that your staff is capitalizing on every customer that you do get. So following
Absolutely.
following those points that I mentioned, and taking it a step further. When I'm actually heading to Canada next week, I'm going to be working at a very busy store helping them out. And one of the things that I'll be doing with every transaction is asking those customers, okay, now that we've got this out of the way, any other people you want to remember at the holiday? And just that simple phrase repeated to every customer often will enable me to get an extra order or two. And that's an easy way to increase sales, and customers appreciate that. Okay, any other questions or comments from the group? Because what I want you to do is line up your staff, send them to me at 2:30 Eastern. So in about 50 minutes, I want to spend some time with them, give them a shot in the arm, get them as ready as possible for the holiday. Also, if there's anybody in your store who you've noticed is underperforming, you don't like what he or she is doing or saying, this is a perfect time to send them my way, and I'll massage them over for an hour. So okay, we're going to bow out. Anyone has any questions, any comments, you can shoot me an email, give me a phone call, and just watch your email for lots of information over the coming weeks, and we'll see you in early January. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you soon, and have a great holiday. Bye-bye.